Oh, and I don't like that. Can you cut that bit out? The cause of who we are as a highly sensitive, high sensory person is a fundamental part of our value and our identity. And when we subvert that, it comes at a great cost. It's Willow McIntosh here, founder of Illuminance and creator of the High Sensory Method. The cause of who we are is the part of us that relates to what is most important to us and what we really care about in the world. And this is an incredibly important part of being high sensory, being highly sensitive. And if you're new to this channel, whenever I use the word high sensory, I am referring to the highly sensitive person. I'm referring to what I call high sensory intelligence and of course sensory processing sensitivity. I believe the word sensitive doesn't support the identification with who we really are. I believe there are some negative connotations around that word, which is why I tend to prefer to use the word high sensory, but I am absolutely referring to the highly sensitive person. The reason this is very important to me is because this is all about my cause. My cause in the world is about awakening the world to the importance of the high sensory trait. I believe and know through my experience that we are here to do very, very important things. And how that's operating within you at a personal level is really, really important. Excuse me, because I'm trying my best not to stand on this enormous ant. The importance of recognizing this in ourselves at an individual level runs far and wide within our experience. High sensory people tend to care deeply, and that is one of the wonderful parts of who we are. We tend to be, we tend to care deeply about the environment, we care deeply about animals, we care deeply about the future of humankind. You could say that that is the case for everybody, but it is particularly acute in us. Hence why it's difficult for us to watch the news, why it's difficult for us to be in conversations where we can't share our viewpoint, our perspective. And when I say difficult, it can be hugely overwhelming to the point where we either have to leave the room or we need to find a way to be able to allow ourselves to be heard and acknowledged. This is an indication of just how deeply we care about particular causes and values in the world. And what you'll find is that you are sitting on a version of this. You have a cause in your heart. You have an area of life that deeply matters to you, that will have been with you ever since you were a child. And it shapes the decisions you make. It shapes the career that you undertake. The business that you're in, it is a fundamental part of who you are. The trouble is if we are not honoring this and we are not giving it attention within our hearts, we tend to be firing on one cylinder rather than 6 cylinders, to use an engine analogy there. The ant's gone. If we are not owning and identifying with this cause within us, what tends to happen is life actually gets really difficult for us. And what can happen is if we are in the wrong line of work for too long, or the wrong circumstances for too long, then our cause gets really loud in us, to the point where we can often have a breakdown, and we have to do something about that in order to make a change. I'm not saying that a breakdown is coming for you, but I'm just talking about the power of this, the importance of this within us, and the effect that it can have when we are not honoring this and we're not recognizing the importance of allowing it to do its work through us. So my invitation is to tune into what that cause is in you. What is it that you've always deeply cared about? Is it to do with personal development? Is it to do with relationships? Is it to do with a particular element of life or, humankind that you have found you've always really wanted to work within? You want to talk about it. It's the area that excites and ignites you. My invitation is to get interested in that, to get curious about that, because the trouble is when we're making do and when we're trying to get by not being honest about that, the cost is great to us. The cost is great to our health, our well-being, and our path through life. I am aware, of course, and of course I had to go through this initiation, if you like, into the ownership of my own cause. I know what it's like to be aware of this and thinking to ourselves, well, what am I supposed to do about that? How am I supposed to do anything about this? I've got a mortgage to pay, I've got children to look after. I can't make big sudden changes and go on this campaign of change for the world. I really understand and I get that. The thing to remember is that you are designed to make a difference in the world in a way that is authentic to you. And the world will support and help you to be the true expression of who you are. And the reason it feels uncomfortable and difficult for us when we're not being the truth of who we are is because it's nature feeding that information back to us. When we're going against the truth of our nature, there's cost to that from our well-being and our mental well-being, emotional well-being, and of course our spiritual well-being. So the opportunity that there is to start small with baby steps and think, well, how can I actually, first of all, acknowledge what matters to me, and how can I begin to make little changes around ways in which I can honor that part of myself. It's about building relationship with the part of ourselves that really matters most to us, and how we can begin to move into interacting and integrating with life in a way where that part of us is being seen and acknowledged. The response is amazing because everything switches on around us. The world, our lives respond to that, the world responds to that. In terms of our own experience, there is a magical alignment that happens when we start to get honest about what we really value and what really matters to us. So it doesn't mean to say there has to be big changes. Big changes may be appropriate for you, but it's just an invitation to recognize how powerful this is in you. I know that it's in you. I have worked with so many high sensory people over the years, and in every single case, the power of the cause comes through every single time. And it is a beautiful self-awakening to really embrace this part of ourselves, and especially to get among others who can support that conversation, so we can get to see that there are others who share the passion that we have and the calling for change in particular areas, especially within community. So within the Illuminance community, for instance, it's free to come in, so you can experience some of the facilitation sessions that I do. You can come in and join one of those. The videos that I create in the community are more how-to. They're more talking about my experience directly and how you can apply some of these concepts that I talk about here on this channel. And it's also an opportunity to be seen and heard for who you are, in order for you to be able to embrace this powerful truth and cause of who you are, and how you can figure out ways of beginning to embrace that, even if it is just being among other people that share similar values to you. Maybe there's a book you want to write. Maybe there's a channel, a YouTube channel that you want to start. Maybe there's a shift that you want to make in your business or career that is more in alignment with the truth of the cause that's within you. And I am very much here to support you in that transition. Thank you again for watching. I look forward to seeing you next time. The link to check out the community is in the description. It'll be wonderful to see you there, and to encourage you to really embrace this wonderful part of who you are as a high sensory and highly sensitive person. Looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.